Do you desire to turn your passion into income? Connect with other creative souls who also dance to the beat of their own drum? I'm Marie-Nicole, and I'm devoted to combining beauty, uniqueness, and connection in everyday living experiences. As a creative professional and Dharma coach, I help people connect to the truth of who they are and facilitate them in embodying their uniqueness. It is my hope in this podcast that I inspire you to live your life on your terms and earn your income through being uniquely you. After all, it's the unique thread that we each contribute to the collective tapestry that creates the whole. Before going into today's podcast topic, I'd like to share some information from our sponsor, Hum Sound Therapy. Peter and Connie have been sharing their passions together for the past 9 years, developing a unique heart-based sound experience, expanding hearts into the benefits of sound and energy healing, using a variety of instruments, including crystal singing bowls, gong, Native American flute, didgeridoo, drums, chimes, and more. Peter is also a biofield practitioner, working one-on-one, in-person, and distance sessions. They are both passionate about sharing sound vibration and creating an environment where you can drop into your heart and feel, enabling a full-bodied experience. A quote from these beautiful-hearted humans themselves: "Our work is to be of service, to share our love, guide and nurture you back to your inner wisdom and reclaim your personal song through sound and energy, dropping into your heart, raising your hum of life." I can personally vouch for the truly magical and healing experiences you will receive through their sound journeys and biofield tuning sessions. So, to connect with them and their offerings, visit their website and follow their journeys on social media. Links are in the show note. Thank you, Hum Sound Therapy, for sponsoring this podcast, and now for today's episode. I'd like to start this episode by saying thank you. Thank you to you for sharing your time and this space with me over the last 30 episodes. And if you're new to this podcast, I thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy going back and listening to previous episodes. Here in Australia, it is now August, and the last weeks of winter are before us. In business, I've always found August replicates nature's seasonal cycles, and it's a really quiet, reflective, restorative time before the burst of new growth and all that busyness that comes with the onset of spring. As I have shared in previous episodes, I myself have been going through a personal season of winter in my life cycle. I may not have used those words exactly, but that is a realization that I have now reached. Over the last 15 months, I've had to let go of so many aspects of the life I created. A life that I actually loved, but clearly a life that was no longer serving me. While I tried so hard to hold on to my marriage, my commercial space, collaborations, and even my beloved car, the universe has, in no uncertain terms, let me know it's time to let go and retreat into a winter phase of my own, in preparation for the transformation into the next phase of my existence. And for the first time in my life, I have no idea what that next phase will look like. I have always been a planner, an eternal optimist, a seeker of a beautiful life and ways of being. But for the first time, I have no clear picture of what this will look like going forward. I do have the essence, the supporting framework in place, and I know what fuels me and what lights me up and what provides me with a sense of security, physically, emotionally, and mentally. I also know what keeps me connected to the essence of who I am, to nature, to community, and so I am now seeking to nurture the foundational roots of my life and allow new growth to branch out from there. So I'm taking some time off from producing the podcast for a bit. I have every intention of returning in September with a burst of spring energy. This podcast is something I absolutely love creating. I do feel a change of name coming through though, but I need to let that sit in the darkness a little longer before it sees the light. Recently, I've been reading this beautiful book called Wintering by Catherine May, and I'd like to read part of it to you as it expresses exactly what I am speaking on here. The dropping of leaves by deciduous trees is called abscission. It occurs on the cusp of autumn and winter as a part of a long cycle of growth, maturity and renewal. The spring and summer leaf cells are full of chlorophyll, a bright green substance that absorbs sunlight to fuel the process that converts carbon dioxide and water into the starch and sugar that allow the tree to grow. But at the end of summer, as the days grow shorter and the temperature falls, deciduous trees stop making food. In the absence of sunlight, it would be too costly to maintain the machinery of growth. The chlorophyll begins to break down, revealing other colours that were always present in the leaf, but which were masked by the abundance of green pigment. There are oranges and yellows derived from carotene and xanthophyll. At the same time, other chemical changes take place to create red pigments. The exact mix is different for each tree, sometimes producing bright yellows, oranges, and browns, and sometimes displaying as reds or purples. The trees put on their autumn display. But while this is happening, a layer of cells is weakening between the stem and the branch. This is called the abscission zone. Gradually it severs the leaf from access to water, and the leaf dries and browns, and then in most cases falls off, either under its own weight or encouraged by wintry rains and winds. Within a few hours, the tree will have released substances that heal the scar that the leaf has left, protecting itself from the evaporation of water, infection, or the invasion of parasites. But even as the leaves are falling, the buds of the next year's crop are already in place, waiting to erupt again in spring. Most trees produce their buds in high summer, and the autumn leaf fall reveals them, neat and expectant, protected from the cold by thick scales. We rarely notice them because we think we're seeing a skeleton of the tree, a dead thing, until the sun returns. But look closely, and every single tree is in bud, from the sharp talons of the beech to the hoof-like black buds of the ash. Many trees also display cactins in the winter, like the acid green lamb's tails of the hazel and the furry grey nubs of the willow. These employ the wind or insects to spread pollen, ready for the new year. The tree is waiting. It has everything ready. Its fallen leaves are mulching the forest floor, and its roots are drawing up the extra winter moisture, providing a firm anchor against seasonal storms. Its ripe cones and nuts are providing essential food in this scarce time for mice and squirrels, and its bark is hosting hibernating insects and providing a source of nourishment for hungry deer. It is far from dead. It is in fact the life and soul of the wood. It's just getting on with it quietly. It will not burst into life in spring. It will just put on a new coat and face the world again. Isn't that beautiful? So on that note, I would like to sign off on season 1 and see you back here in spring with a new coat and ready to face the world again myself. Firstly, though, I'd like to send you much love, especially if you two are going through your own personal wintering period. And if you're in the height of spring growth, then bask in that sunshine and treasure the vibrance of that season you are in. I look forward to joining you there soon. Thank you so much for your time. I know how valuable it is, and I hope you got value out of listening to this podcast. If you are looking for a coach to support and guide you through your own unique journey of creating a life you love, then reach out for a connection call. And if you'd like to connect with other creative souls in person by joining us at a workshop, a retreat, or to book a unique shopping experience here at Creators Nest, I run those by appointment. So check out the website for more details. The link is in the show notes. Oh, and please leave a review. I'd love to hear any insights or inspirations that were activated in you from this podcast. And I look forward to drumming, dancing, or soaring alongside of you.